Welcome to 365 Math. In this video, we will be talking about proportion. Proportion is closely related to ratio. If two numbers are directly proportional to each other, it means if one increases, the other one also increases at the same rate. And if two numbers are inversely proportional to each other, then if one number increases, the other one decreases at the same rate. And when two ratios are equivalent, they are in proportion. So a common way to solve a problem where proportion is involved is to find the value of a unit quantity. For example, if a wire of length 2 meters costs $10, find the cost of a wire of length 35 centimeters. We are going to change the 2 meters into centimeters so that our units become the same. So to change from a meter to a centimeter, we multiply by 100 because 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. So 2 times 100 is equal to 200 centimeters. And we want to find the cost of wire of length 35 centimeters. So we're told that 200 centimeters costs $10. Therefore, we are going to find out how much 1 centimeter costs. And to do so, we are going to divide $10 for 200 meters by 200 meters, and we get our answer as $0.05, meaning that 1 centimeter costs $0.05. Hence, now we want to find how much 35 centimeters is going to cost. So 35 centimeters costs $0.05 times 35, which is equal to $1.75. So you see how we have calculated the unit cost of this wire. We found out that each centimeter costs 5 cents, which is $0.05. We then spoke about two numbers being inversely proportional to one another, where we said if one increases, then the other one decreases. And I'm going to look at an example whereby we have got a scenario of inversely proportional numbers. So we're told that 8 workers can dig a hole in 4 hours. How long will it take 5 workers to dig the same size hole? Just by looking at this, already we have been told that 8 workers can dig a hole in 4 hours. And then now we are decreasing the number of workers to 5, meaning that they are definitely going to take more time to dig the same hole. So what we have are 8 workers who are working to dig a hole in 4 hours. And I want to find out how many hours one worker would take to dig that hole. And that is one worker would be equal to 8 times 4 hours, which is equal to 32 hours. One worker would take 32 hours to dig the same size hole. I want to find out how much time 8 workers would take to dig the same hole size. So to find how much time 8 workers would take, we then divide. We say 32 hours, which is for 1, divided by 5 workers, and we get our answer as 6.4 hours. But we do not want to leave it as a decimal as 6.4. So we are going to change this into minutes. And to change this into minutes, since we have 0.4, this is a tenth. The first number after the decimal is a tenth. So we have 4 over 10 multiplied by 60 over 1. Why we're multiplying by 60 is because 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So now we cancel 10 into 10, 1. 10 into 60, that is 6. And we're left with 4 times 6, which is equal to 24. Hence, it would take 5 workers 6 hours, 24 minutes to dig the same size hole. You see, this example is one that deals with inverse proportion. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of examples for you to truly understand how proportion works. So example number 1, a girl earns $140 in a 5-day week. What is her pay for 3 days? We've got our rate as dollars is to days, and we're told that she gets $140 in 5 days. And now we want to find out what her pay is in 3 days. So we're going to say an unknown number which I will just put as a question mark, right, is proportion to 3. So I'll just say an unknown number, which I've denoted by this question mark, is equivalent to 3 days. So since 3 is less than 5, now this is how I solve these proportions in a simpler manner. Since 3 is less than 5, we're going to say the amount of money that you get is definitely going to be less than 140, because the proportion says 140 is equivalent for 5 days. But if she's going to work for 3 days, which are less, that means she's also going to get less amount of money. We then say the lesser number, which is the lesser ratio, this one, the 3 that we're looking at. So we're looking or comparing 3 and 5. So we say the lesser number, which is 3 over 5 times 140 over 1. And then we cancel 5 into 5, that is 1. 5 into 14, that is 2. Remainder 4. And then 5 into 40, that is 8. And now we are left with 3 times 28, which gives us $84. That means her pay for 3 days is equal to $384. Example number 2. A car uses 10 liters of petrol to travel 75 kilometers. How far would it travel on 8 liters? Again, we're using the same concept as in example number 1. So we have liters is to distance, and we're told that the car uses 10 liters to travel a distance of 75 kilometers. How far would it travel on 8 liters? So we have 8 on this side, and we're saying 8 liters would travel an unknown distance for now, but this unknown distance, comparing 8 to 10, 8 is less than 10. So the car is going to travel a lesser distance. So we are going to put less right here. And since it is less, we'll take the smaller number between 8 and 10, which is equal to 8. So we say 8 over 10 multiplied by 75 kilometers. And then we cancel 10 into 10, that is 1. 10 into 75, that is 7.5. Now 7.5 times 8 will give us 60. On 8 liters, it would travel 60 kilometers. Moving on to the last example. A ship has sufficient food to supply 600 passengers for 3 weeks. How long would the food last for 800 passengers? Now, if you look at this, we have increased the number of passengers from 600 to 800, and with 600 passengers, the food was taking them 3 weeks. But now that we've increased the number of passengers, that means it is going to take less time. We are not going to solve this one in the same way that we did in example number 1 and in example number 2. And let me show you why. So we're saying that we have our ratio of passengers to days, or let me call them weeks, and we have 600 passengers, and they would take 3 weeks to finish their food. And then we increased the number of passengers. For this to make sense, since we've increased the number of passengers, we've already established that it is going to take them less amount of weeks to finish the food, since they have increased the number. So you can use this if you know what to put in this place, because if you make a mistake and say that it is going to be more just because you have increased the number of passengers, then the answer would be incorrect. But if you know that it would be less, then you can go ahead and use this method. However, I'll show you another way of tackling this question. But for now, let's just continue with this. So if we say it is going to be less, we are going to take the lesser number of the two between 600 and 800. So the lesser number is 600. So we say 600 over 800 multiplied by 3, and we cancel this 0 and this 0, this 0 and this 0, and we're left with 6 over 8 times 3. We can further simplify this, whereby we divide by 2 and we get a 3 and we get a 4. So now we have 3 over 4 times 3, which gives us 2.25 weeks. So the food with 800 passengers would last them 2.25 weeks. But remember, you only get this one correct if you know what to put here, because whatever you put here will determine how you write your fraction right there. However, another way of looking at this, number 1, you find the total amount of food for 600 passengers in 3 weeks. So that would be the total amount of food, that is 600 times 3, and you get 1,800 as the answer. And then the second step would determine how long the food would last for 800 people by dividing the total amount of food by the number of people. The last step would be to divide. Remember, we got 1,800 and we're going to divide it by the new number of passengers, which is 800, and we'll cancel this 0 and this 0, this 0 and this 0, and now we're left with 18 divided by 8, which gives us 2.25 weeks. So this is another way of going around this question. Both of the methods will still give you the same answer. You just need to understand what is required, and you need to use your logic to see whether you're going to get more days or less days. There you have it, guys. I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching. Please do hit the subscribe button for more videos. I'll see you in the next one.